if you're a car guy, do you really want to go through life without having painted a car? It's the next day. Alright, so these got done last night. I still got to put a couple of coats of clear onto it, but they're looking pretty good. It looks like with this color, the base coat doesn't quite go opaque. It's a little bit transparent. You can see where the black has overrun into the red, and that black is underneath the red, and that's coming through. So just a little surprise that I encountered when doing this. Now, if you don't like that result, what you would need to do is mask this off and then shoot the black, and then mask the black off and shoot the red, and then you'll get a nice distinct difference. But I'm kind of liking the blending effect there, so I'm gonna leave it as is. I don't mind that at all. And the bumper is looking pretty good as well. This thing needs a couple more coats of clear, which I'm going to do this morning. But look, so far it's going pretty good. It's taking a while, I gotta say. You know, the prep work is key, and I am doing a lot of prep work. I'm trying not to rush, but at the same time I'm conscious of the fact that I can't be doing this forever. I'm gonna get going, and the first thing I'm gonna do is finish clearing these panels, and then I'm gonna head outside. I'm gonna take the doors off. It's looking good. No rust really. Some surface rust there. I'll sand that down. We'll be shooting it with black. Time to get sanding. Alrighty, the front of the truck is covered up. We've got the cab sanded, masked, and cleaned with wax and grease remover. And we've got our primer ready to go. So let's do this. Alright, I'm almost finished with the first coat of the primer, but I ran across this. See these two stickers over here? I think it's probably best if I remove these. I've got them masked up so I can paint over it at the moment. But what I'm actually going to do is peel this tape off, and this one too. And then what I'm going to do is remove these stickers, and I'm going to use an eraser wheel. These things are magic, by the way. They do a really good job of removing adhesive and stickers, vinyl stickers, from the bodywork of your car. Check out the link in the description below if you want to get these. I'm going to show you how to use them in a second. And then I'm going to use just a small razor scraper with a plastic blade to start things off, to get the majority of these things off, and then any residue that's left behind, I'm going to hit it with the eraser wheel. So I'm going to start with the razor scraper. There we go. So that got that off pretty well. There's not a lot of residue left, but you can see how there's a little bit of glue and stickiness there. Again, use a plastic blade, don't use a metal blade, and that will leave your paint undamaged. Okay, so now that we've got that off, the next thing I'm going to do is take my eraser wheel, attach it to my drill, just like so, and watch this. Before, So there you go. These things are magic. Use a plastic scraper, use a plastic blade, okay, plastic blades, and then taking a razor wheel, run over it, and you're left with a nice clean surface ready to paint. All right, we're back in business. Nice. So take a look at this. Not a single trace of these stickers left. So that really took me about 3 minutes to take those off, and you know, for the sake of doing that, I'm going to end up with a much better result in this paint job instead of masking around those silly little old stickers. Once everything's painted, I'll pull the stickers back on, and the way I'll do that is I'll just print some new ones. I took some photos of these stickers. I'm going to have them remade, printed out, and then I'll just stick them back on once everything's done. All right, I'm going to finish up this last bit of edge primer, then I'm going to let this sit for a few minutes, and then I'm going to hit it with high fill primer, and then I'm going to hit it again with high fill primer, and then hopefully that will be enough to start putting some color on this cab. And I think once we've done that, we would have turned a corner on this project. So let's go. Alright guys, while you weren't looking, I did a thing, and this is what that thing is. Yeah, we finally have some color on this baby. So I've hit it with a couple of coats of gloss black, which is what I want the car to be underneath and around the door trims. As you can see, the roof and the back of the cab still isn't red, so that'll be stage 2. But you haven't missed much. All I've done is use the Scotch-Brite pad to roughly sand down the primer, and then after that I gave it a good wipe with some wax and grease remover, and then I've applied the black. So I'm going to apply a third coat of black now to cover everything really well, and then I'll lightly apply just a coat of acrylic to help seal the black. And then once that's dry, I'm going to start rubbing back some of the areas that I've left unpainted, such as here, because this part will be red. That follows on into the door over here. So I'll lightly rub that back, and then I'll mask off the black areas so that I can get ready to start shooting the red. So I've got the cab masked up everywhere that I want the black to stay, and we'll be putting the red on the roof, on the pillars, and a little bit on the sides here as well. Before I do any of that, I'm going to go over this primer one more time with some Scotch-Brite pad, and then I'll give it a light coat of primer yet again. And the reason I'll do that is because the paint is translucent, so the black would show through if I would just apply red to say this panel here. This part would be a darker red and this part would be a lighter red. So I'm just going to hit it with primer again so it evens out, and then we're going to shoot some red. Now what I found is you need about 6 coats of the undercoat and the top coat for this red, and then about another 6 coats of clear, because you're coming out of a can, so it doesn't go on as thick as, say, with a spray gun. I've already done the doors. This is what they look like. They turned out pretty good, so I'm just going to follow those procedures on the cab itself. Alright, first coat is on, light dust coat of course. I'm gonna wait 5-10 minutes and then we'll put on the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Then we'll let it sit, then comes colour. Okay, base coat is done. I'm gonna put the color on next. 6 coats should do it. I touched the roof with the bottom of my can. Damn it. I was literally running it across here and it nicked the roof. And look at that. After all that work. I'm gonna keep going with these coats. I'm only on the 3rd coat of this. So hopefully it'll cover it back up. It doesn't look like it's gone through the metallic. It's just taken off the red. Oh, I'm absolutely kicking myself. I've been at this for hours, and this being a 2-stage process, yeah, it's not like I can just put more coats of this on. You're always going to see that. Now I'm just going to have to see how badly you're going to see that once I'm done. Alright, last coat is on, and I must say it looks pretty good, even if I do say so myself. A nice deep metallic red that hopefully I can show you tomorrow in the sunlight. It is now getting quite late here, so I'm gonna wrap it up for tonight. The last thing I wanted to do was peel some of this tape off, and I wasn't gonna do it without you. Now before I go along, I just want to show you what the consistency of this is, and it's pretty good. Not too bad at all. The one thing I'll point out is that little spot on the roof. Well, that's as good as I could get it, and it's way up there, hidden from view, and if you won't tell anyone, I certainly won't. I think I'm gonna be the only one who's upset about that. Every time I get in this car, that's what I'll be thinking about. But there you go. Sometimes those things happen when you do this. Look, short of respraying that roof, there's no fixing it, and I'm definitely not going to do that. Not at this stage. Once the clear's on, hopefully it'll look a little better, but I'm gonna have to make do with that. All right, let's get some of this tape off. I don't want this falling on any of my new paint, so I'm going to be super gentle and super careful. And just look at that. Just even that, I think looks, woo, all right. Oh, so good, I love this color. Absolutely love it. How cool does that look? Damn, I did that. Alright guys, so the doors are on and the cab is pretty much done. So I've got everything in terms of trim work put back onto the doors. As you can see right there, everything's back on and reassembled. The cab is back together and cleaned. The only thing I've got left is these 3 screws here and 3 more on the other side over there, and they will be attaching the rear view mirrors, which are not on the car yet. They're actually over here getting their final coats of clear. And then once that's done, I'll be putting them on the car. Now, the next phase will be the front quarters and the front bumper, which are just over here. Now, if you recall, what I did was did a blend effect on the black and the red where they combine. Now, since I've done that, I've sort of changed my mind because I'm not quite happy with how the blend turned out. There's a bit more overspray in some areas than others, and it kind of looks like a mistake. So I'm going to remedy that mistake, or the thing that looks like a mistake. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand back the clear and the red over here, and over here. I'm going to mask off the black because I'm happy with the way the black looks. But basically, I'm going to sand all this back. I'm going to give it another coat of primer, and I'll be hitting it with red again. And once the red is back on, I'll be clearing the whole thing again. Now, this is not a small task and it's not cheap. This red paint is a 2-stage paint, and yeah, they're 36 bucks a can. So yeah, not cheap. So this whole thing being a budget project, is certainly a problem because it's eating into the budget, but that's just me. It's a curse, you know. I like things to be perfect, so I am going to have to redo it. Now, the other thing I want you to take a note of is the color. So the color on this truck at the moment is 6 coats of metallic, followed by 6 coats of red, and then followed by 6 coats of clear. Now, the ones on this quarter panel and bumper are only 3 coats of metallic, 3 coats of red, and 3 coats of clear. And just take a look at the color difference. I don't know if you can see, but that's more of a magenta or like a maroni purple, whereas this is a deep red, and that's what I'm going for. So there's no two ways about it. I'm going to need to repaint the red on these panels, and I am going to do that. It's going to cost me a bit more, but I am going to have to look at it forever or until I own the car. So I know that that's going to bother me. If I don't do this properly, it's going to bother me. So I'm going to redo it, and I'm going to do it properly. But that's what this is all about. This is about learning. It's about picking up your mistakes and hopefully not repeating them. All in all, I'm very happy with how this is all turning out. Everything is looking sweet. Everything needs a good clean and a detail and a polish, but overall, the lines are looking really nice. Yeah, it's fantastic. We won't talk about that. That's going to be a big project. But anyway, that's it for now. I hope you're enjoying the progress on this car. I am definitely learning a lot, and I can now say that I've painted a car, which I've never done before. And if you're a car guy, do you really want to go through life without having painted a car? I'm not too upset with my first attempt, I gotta say. That's pretty good. Definitely not cheap, but probably cheaper than taking it to a body shop. In any case, I hope you're liking the progress. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff, and I'll see you next time.